Cheryl, Alan. Today we're going to be looking at some rocks from the February tumbles. The last two, I guess. Not going to be able to cover them all because there's a bunch of them. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. You might want to close your eyes. It's going to get a little shaky while I put it on the stand, and then we'll start looking at some rocks. Okay, there we go. Try to get these lights lined up a little better. Hopefully. Hey, Jeff. Okay, still getting it all lined up and ready here. Hey, Bob. Okay. Sorry, this thing was set up for portrait mode. We don't like portrait lives. Okay. Cheryl, you see my dot? Okay. All right, well, let's get on into this. So on the last rock tumbling video, I talked about that I had some boulder opals, some yawa nuts that were in the tumblers, and so that's what we'll start looking at. Well, if I don't drop them all over the floor, I don't know where that one went. Okay, there it is. Uh-oh, already had a casualty here. So it took a really fantastic polish. But you can see the casualty, it snapped off here. Looks like it broke into more than two pieces. Anyhow, back to the tumbler with that one. So this one surprised me. This one, after it tumbled a while, it ended up having opal inside it. You zoom in a little bit more. Okay, well, you can see that. It has a little bit of flash on that one. So we'll look through these, because once you've seen one of these, you've seen them all pretty much. And I mean, they don't. Okay, got to zoom out now. So the outer shell part of it does not polish well at all. And that's a piece that broke off. But it does kind of look cool when it's included. But you can see that it puts a nice shine on it. But like I said, they're all pretty much the same once you get one of them. They all pretty much look the same. there's one that didn't take a great polish on that side. It's like it has something softer inside. I'm not sure what it is. But anyhow, that's not, I didn't realize that one was in here. I didn't pull all the unpolished ones out of here, I guess, but yeah, so what I threw in the tumbler, I did not see any color in at all. And so some of it, or one piece of it actually ended up showing color. So that's kind of cool when it has that outer shell ground mostly off. That kind of looks good. I don't know what's up with the lighting here. Hopefully that's better. But anyhow, that's I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on that, on the ironstone. It's ironstone. It's pretty much all just polished brown rocks, but they did come out pretty. I don't know why this one here looks so off brown, but it's the same stuff. So let's get into the rocks now. But I am going to continue. I bought several Yawa nuts and I didn't hardly get any color out of them. But hey, Brenda. But I am going to tumble them and see if they're somewhere down inside them, there's some color. So I'm going to drop these in a box over here. And these are the rocks we're not going to look at. So that's about half of what I got. And it's not because they're bad polished or anything. It's just because of time. But, okay, let's get going. Actually, I need 1 second here, guys. Sorry. I need a place to put the stuff we look at. Okay, so this one, zoom in. I really don't know what that is. At first I thought it might have been palmwood, but it's not. If it was palmwood, it would show little streaks on one side. And I'm just not seeing that. Susan. Yeah, I think I've got everybody. Said hi to everybody. If I missed y'all, keep watching. I believe this is Arizona petwood here. Really pretty piece. In Karen's live stream last night, we talked about rock polishing and stuff, and a lot of tips came up, and different people talked about their tumbling methods, and I saw Chubby Hubby just came in. Hi, Mr. C. We talked about burnishing and what burnishing actually was. And so it was nice to get a lot of input at different people's ideas behind rock polishing and all. Okay, I'm going to turn that other light back on. So this looks like petwood. I think that's what it is. It's a gray petwood if it is. Yeah, it is, I think, because that's got that kind of look there. Here's a pretty good chunk here. I do not know exactly what that is. I just dumped some buckets, or a bucket of some smaller stuff in tumblers a while back, and I could see some pretty cool cabs coming out of that. That kind of looks like lightning coming out of a dark sky. You did it like that and cabbed it. I believe this is just chert. It looks like it's got dendrites in it, though. I don't know. That was just one of the ones in there. Okay. And again, I got lots of pet wood coming through because I dumped a bucket of pet wood in stage 1 a while back, and so yeah. So there's some pet wood. This one's got some really neat bands on it, and I don't know if that may be a piece of a Brazilian agate that broke. Jeff probably would know that. But there's a piece of pet wood. Yes, Cheryl, that is from the Estates L buckets. The ones that I just dumped randomly in. It was some smaller stuff, and I just tossed it in. I don't know why. But that looks like that may have some, it might have some interesting stuff if you cut it down and cabbed it. If it's got some soft material here in the middle, so it may undercut. There's a piece of crazy lace. Could be. Could be, Brenda. Isn't that pretty, man? I never get tired of looking at crazy lace. I mean, even the little bit of quartz right here looks good. There's a piece of that. I think that we decided it was polychrome jasper, not polychrome. It wasn't polychrome jasper. Now I forgot the name of it, doggone it. Maybe someone can help out. Okay, JJ, I don't need you to look at my hand, buddy. But yeah, it's got some neat stuff in it. Here's hey, Addie. Here's a piece of grain. Now, we don't get grain that often, but Romania Rockhound seems to have a lot of grain that she finds. And so there must be a lot over in Romania. So if you go and look at her channel, some of the stuff that she has is really some pretty stuff. It'll be street gravel, and it'll be really pretty grain stuff. Another piece of pet wood. This one has some issues, some flaking, but that's kind of common with the pet wood. That if it's not completely agatized. There's a nice piece of pet wood. Again, that looks like little lightning streaks coming down to me. And I just wiped that off. That white was a little powder. This one didn't take a gloss polish, but as a matte finish. it still looks, it still has a lot of good characteristics to it. It's still pretty rock. Speaking of not polished rocks, so when you get sandstone like this, you know, it broke down and you know, it broke down and rounded and all, and it just has a lot of pretty patterns in it. Here's another piece of crazy lace. That is some wild material. Get back. That is some wild material. There's a piece of agate. Looks like it's got, may have some quartz inside. I don't know, maybe that's just banding. It's another piece of pet wood. That's Idaho. And there's a piece of poop. That's coprolite or copperlite, however you want to say it. Tomato. But that is some petrified poop. Hey there, Fred. Sorry I missed you earlier. Hey, how you doing, Karen? We were talking about you a minute ago. We were talking about your live stream last night and how we were talking about polishing rocks and all the good tips we got and got people's input on different things. So that looks like it's a jasper with quartz. It looks like a jasper with quartz in it. If not, it's a jasper agate. But yeah, you can see the polish on this, and that is a piece of chert right there. I think we've had some other people come in that I missed. I'll try to keep an eye out for you there. That right there. I'm not sure what that is. It may be jasper agate. Took a good polish. It's a pretty piece. It has some soft spots on it, it looks like, because it didn't polish up perfect on the edge. Maybe just a softer material. Here's another one that is not it's not one that would take a high polish, at least it didn't with the agate and jasper and stuff. But it's got some cool features. Maybe I could put it back in and polish it with some softer rocks. I don't go through and test them before I polish them. And this right here is the blue out of, I think it's blue, out of the picture agate, picture jasper rather. And so I don't know if that's a wahi or not. This was another piece of that copperlite here. And boy, you can't see the detail on that too much. Let me try to zoom in and see if it looks like some of the polish got stuck in some cracks there. But I don't feel them. I mean, that may actually just be the stone, because I cannot feel the cracks when I scratch on it. Okay, let's see what else we got. Here's an agate, and I'm not a great identifier of those Moroccan agates, but I think that's where this one came from. And let's see here. Okay. Some of this stuff just has some cool features on it. And, it undercut here, but the way that it ended up looking was pretty nice. Well, what can I say is slippery. Hey, Karen, here's a piece of boulder opal I polished, and I couldn't see this color on it. It was part of Yawa nuts that didn't show any color. I tossed it in, and I figured it would beat the opal out of it if it was there, but it did come up and show that one little piece. So, got lucky there. That rock, to me, is just, it's not showing up that great. It just has some subtle colors that all go together well. And it's almost picking up, there it goes. Picking up the colors. Anyhow, we'll move along or we'll never get done. So, got some mossiness and some platelets in that agate. And some fingerprints on it. This is a piece of quartz, but I just thought it was cool the way it polished up. Hey, Don. Welcome in. Yes, Brenda, that's funny how we like to poop. That's funny. So that, maybe a piece of crazy lace. I don't know. Most of what I tumble's saw scrap, so. But I did, like I said earlier, dump some stuff that I got from an auction in here. And that one's got some fractures in it. Piece of quartz, but it's all right. Now, I don't usually get a very good polish on lanite, and that's not like a AAA grade polish, but that's some darker lanite, and it did take a little bit better polish. And maybe if I worked it with, by itself on a wheel or something, maybe I could bring it down and get a good polish. But lanite's really granite, and so that stuff doesn't polish so great. Not in a tumbler anyhow. That one's got a lot of character in it. I don't know why the color's so red, but it is. It's like a lot of little blobs on that one. And that just is, maybe that's jasper, but, and then who doesn't like amethyst? There's just like a little trim of amethyst that came off of that. That looks like some picture jasper. You can see it's got some soft spots in there. It's just a piece of agate. See some banding around the outside of it. That's a little piece of crazy lace that was a trim piece. Really, that could be taken down to make a cab out of it. And here's some more of that. It's kind of a green and a brown. It's just a real earth tony type colors with the colors blend together, and they go together real well. Good contrast in this. Yeah. You know, I hate to throw away good stuff, and so I tumble it and it ends up in jars under my bed most of the time. But I don't know, I hate to waste the stuff. You know, that would be good. There are a lot of good wire wrap pieces here. And that's got some interesting color on it. No earthly idea what that is. That looks like that maybe some of that coprolite, but then it looks like agate banding in there too. Piece of Arizona pet wood. It was just, you know, just a little piece left over. Little agate here. I'm trying to get it where you can see the drizzy in it. It's got a little drizzy pocket around the fortification banding. And that's the back side of it. It probably cracked or something, and so I didn't do a face polish on it. Here's some dendritic opal. Yeah, Cheryl, I can see what you're saying about doing a wire wrap on some of this. Problem is I don't wire wrap. There's another piece of that was the green and brown, where I like the way the colors go together. I'm kind of buzzing through some of this kind of fast because there's a lot of it. And I've already pulled half of it away. Okay, Jeff, Can you remember what this is called? It's a jasper. Porcelain jasper is what it is. Porcelain finally came to mind there. So that's pretty. This is another piece of amethyst here. Pet wood, maybe? That's what I'm going with. Okay, I'm going to grab a quick drink and load the bullpen up again so I can I can only put so many rocks on the table here at one time. I do want to put this one on there and try to get some ideas of if anyone knows what that is. Yeah, I've run across it fairly often, and it never takes a good polish. It rounds out nice. I guess I didn't care enough to put to do a Mohs test on it. But let me know if you got any ideas. Okay, Karen, thanks for dropping in and hope you have a good day. Don't let that boss work you over too hard there. So that's where I left a lot of the husk still on it. I've talked about that in the past where I like to do that sometimes. There's a kind of a neat piece of pet wood. And you know, pet wood breaks up real easy, but that one's neat. So there's a piece of agate that looks very clear. And I didn't tumble it. I probably just tossed it straight to stage 2 is what it looks like. Because I thought it was, I didn't want to lose the material. Okay. It's another agate. Is that condor, Jeff? Chubby hubby, the thing probably to get nervous about with the 40-pound tumbler is how much grit you got to put in it. I have a 50-pound tumbler and it takes 3 cups of stage 1 grit. You really burn through some grit with that. These are just little pieces of agate. Got some plume going through this one. Some more of the porcelain jasper. You know, that stuff's really pretty. I got some out in my garden that 2 or 3 chunks of it out in my garden. Some leopard skin jasper. It's got good colors in it. That's crazy lace, but it's just the white part. It's kind of dull. Not dull as in the polish, but it just doesn't have much happening there. I guess I cut the good stuff out. Here's a piece of pet wood. Yeah, my last tumble, I filled up my pet wood jar, so I got to start another pet wood jar now. Wonderstone, Rainbow Wonderstone. Takes a pretty good polish. This one's got a little chip or something right there. Probably should have put that on the wheel and ground it out. I think that's, I don't know what that is. That isn't porcelain jasper. It's a conglomerate. I just remembered what this was that has the brownish red going into green. It was a spiderweb jasper. At least that's what it was called when I got it. Just a pretty good sized chunk of pet wood. And I'm going with pet wood on that one too. Looks like a little knot there at the lower left. This looks like a porcelain jasper. I think that looks like that may have been be rhyolite and be part of a thunder egg. It's a piece of agate that was broken. Another piece of pet wood. Here is a clear piece of quartz. And I don't know if I can show the rainbows in there or not, but it's crackled on the inside, and when the light hits it just right, it'll show a few little rainbows inside. There's a piece of moss agate off to the left that looks like it's a genetic spray. A green moss on that. This right here was a thunder egg, is a thunder egg, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's a green thunder egg. So somebody in here probably knows about those. Mr. Thunder Egg might know that you've had a lot of exposure, Fred, to thunder eggs. Ooh, man, that's got some banding on it. Got some parallax in it too. But it was broken. I hope y'all can see the parallax up at the top and probably my thumb. No, I see it at the top for sure. per day. Okay. This one's got some eyes on it. A lot of pretty features on this little piece. I mean, I guess this could be taken and cabbed out, or like Cheryl said, it could have wire wrap or something. That kind of looks like a butterfly or an angel or something in the in there. Looks like two wings anyhow. Wonder if I can call it an angel and sell it for $50,000 on eBay. Okay. It's just a lot of pretty rocks. Has to be. Okay, gotcha. Load up the bullpen again there. Okay. Okay, Jeff. Let me wipe that off there. It's a pretty agate. But not pretty enough to face polish. Here's a big old chunk out of lanite. It's a green rock. Nothing like the green rocks that Romania Rock Hound shows, so. But I don't run across very many green rocks, so I wanted to show that. I'm not sure what that is right there. Got some interesting patterns. It looked like I started to make a cab out of it or something and stopped. It's a piece of crazy lace. So green, the color green, not grain. That's my Texas accent, I guess. Looks like Arizona Petwood there. Green rocks. Thanks for interpreting my Texan there. Verde, I don't know. That's the only other way I know to say green. Okay. Here's a thunder egg that is just, you know, when they're not all that great to face polish, I throw some of them in the tumbler, and man, it takes forever to tumble them down, but sometimes it can really be worth it. A lot of green moss, blue agate, and then I kept some of the rhyolite on the outside too. But boy, it takes a while to get that rhyolite off of there. And this is a Balmoray agate. they call it a Balmeray blue. And then it's got a brown, looks like moss in there. It may be brown fortification banding. Another piece of just subtle colors on the on pet wood. Now I like to polish these. They're a pain to polish, but I like to put these wonky pieces of agate in the tumbler. And this one I'm probably going to have to hit it with a textile gun or something. But, and see if I can get that out. Maybe it doesn't get out, but I mean, they take a good polish. I just think it's neat because they're just abstract. They're just different. And that one would stand up just perfect. Ah, okay, okay. So here's another piece out of a thunder egg. And I tumbled and tumbled it to get that blue agate. Chalcedony rose, huh? Good to know. Thank you. Here's another piece of dendritic opal. Whoops. You saying those chalcedony roses make pretty that they make pretty calves? Oops. Now I don't understand why that wouldn't be called an agate. I pull this back out, but it's got the banding. But do they just call them a chalcedony rose? Well, I'll be, there's another piece of coprolite. I don't think, yeah. It's dark, but not fresh. Okay, some cool pet wood there. Nice contrast. Really nice stuff. Huh. That's good information. So this is the husk. It didn't polish. And that's just a chert or a brown jasper, a silicon oxide. It's another conglomerate. And I've got some of those in my garden too. My flower beds. Okay. Man, we've been going 48 minutes. This is calico lace, which is one of my favorite rocks. Calico lace agate. Ah, could have been carnelian. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to cut through some of this to speed it up a little bit. I didn't realize we'd been on so long. Well, there goes another one. Got the dropsies. It's a kind of nice piece of pet wood. And there's a pretty white agate. It's white banding on clear. But I like that. I'm pretty sure that came out of Balmeray, Texas, too. Okay, let me load the bullpen again, and this will be the last round here. We'll trade that out with that. Well, there's just one more rock there. Haha, Fred. That was just for you, Fred. Porcelain jasper. Some pretty pet wood. Always just one more rock. That looks like that, what they call fawn jasper, but it's not, it's petrified wood. I've only seen it a couple of times, but pretty cool stuff. Oh man, that was fractured down the back. That's probably why it made the scrap pile. There's a piece of agate. So this has got quartz, waterline, and then that looks like waterline opal and fortification banding. Got fortification right at the end of my thumb. Man, that's got it all right there. Yeah, it looks kind of like Brazilian. More petrified wood. Man, I had a whole 5-gallon bucket of that stuff that I dumped into tumblers. Not sure what that is. I believe that's chert right there. It's pretty. So this is some Idaho petrified wood, and it just has a lot of good contrast. I sure appreciate Debbie taking me out there and showing me where to hunt that stuff. So this has got moss agate, and at the top left and the bottom left, it has sagenetic sprays. I imagine somebody could make cabs out of some of this stuff, because some of it's really pretty stuff. Okay, what do I get there? Maybe that came off the cocoa light. Dark, I would call that a dark agate. This one's pretty here. I wished I knew what this was so I could get some more of it. Most of what I had was broken, but man, it's got some fine banding in it. And I got it from Nature's Treasures in Austin. Here's some more of that conglomerate jaspery, maybe a brecciated jasper. Always takes a good polish. And there's a limb cast. And if I wouldn't have left that on there, I probably wouldn't have known it. Add a little bitty piece of snowflake obsidian in there. Got some good flakes on it. And here's another one of the Chalcedony roses. And here's what they're good for, is picking up hitchhiker rocks or picking up the ceramic media. But they come out so cool, I like them. I like to tumble them. That looks like it ought to go on a camo shirt or something. That looks like a camo pattern or something right there. The back was not much, but I think that was just a shirt too. Some red petrified wood. Just one more rose. Hang on, Fred. There's one more rose. Yeah, mossy rock camo. Some pretty colors on this pet wood here. There's another lightning streak coming through right there. Another piece of crazy lace. Looks like that may have been a softer piece. I don't know, or maybe just didn't get a good polish. Let's get that one. Some more blue agate. Blue chalcedony. I do see banding in there though. So I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick. Another piece of Rainbow Wonderstone. I'm just going through and I'm going to pick out the highlights. This was I don't know if that's chevron amethyst or what, but that's got amethyst in it. It's hard to see the purple. My lights are making everything kind of red for some reason. This was kind of cool. I tumbled and then the soft part went away and it just left a hole in that rock. I mean, it's not anything that I would ever think anyone would use for jewelry. It just was kind of neat the way it worked out. Okay, some yellow pet wood. Wow. Those colors blend together real well. Okay. There's an agate there. Like it had a bunch of eyes on that side right there. And there. Rock or no rock, that stuff's cool. I like goldstone. I think most people do. It polishes well, but it is a man-made material. There's a carnelian agate. I think we'll wrap it up. That one's got a pretty neat little stain that says Sedgenet. Yeah, see all the Sedgenetic sprays on this one? Got white ones in the lower right. kind of a black, dark one in the mid left part of it, and then it's got all that tan color sedging out. Looks like grass growing. Okay, well, let's end on that note. Thank you all for joining. I've enjoyed going through my rocks and watching and joining in the chat and all that. I dropped a video a little earlier that was a follow-up on the Kingsley 6-inch cabber modification. And then I'm going to have another one going out hopefully this weekend that will be another 3D for Lapidary video. Sure hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you again for joining, and take care until next time. We'll see you then.